Hello, everyone. I'm Chestic44, Hassan is Falai, and welcome to this Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous. Last episode, we made a quick trip back to Dresden, which is going to turn out to be a bit of a longer trip. Trevor's brother, Social's brother Trevor showed up, except not really, it's an impostor using his name, but clearly knows him. We're going to have to investigate him. Also, we did a big level up and equipping of everyone, and now we need to get a rest. Definitely. We've gotten battered and bruised in the area we were at. Let's see. Cheese crostata seems like a decent idea. Go with that. And yeah, you and me is fine. Begin resting.
The consequences of the treachery have been dealt with. Dresden is now under our control. But that is no cause to relax.
We did something that no one has managed to do in 70-odd years. If that's not a cause for celebration, I don't know what would be for a hard-hearted gnome.
Somehow, I don't think he ever celebrates. If this is timed right... Yep, it's time for the War Council. Commander, I'm glad to report that the reorganization of our army is practically complete. It's time for a counterattack. Karamzada has used his magic to erect a citadel, Storm's Peak, to the south of Dresden to threaten us. We must destroy this fortress. But before we set out, I strongly advise that our officers are informed of the tactical approach we're going to follow on the battlefield from now on. Apart from good soldiers and generals, an army needs a doctrine that states how it intends to win future battles. Personally, I would support a cautious, balanced tactic of attrition based on a defensive style of warfare. A decisive cavalry charge is the best tactic I know. The demons are bloodthirsty, but they're not too eager to die for their cause. If we were to daze them with a powerful strike and shake their confidence, they would choose running for their lives over a selfless stand. We cannot change the fact that our warriors lack the demon's individual might, but our discipline and chain of command are superior. The best way to use it is to maintain a tight formation. We move the foot soldiers up front, withstand the enemy's blow, then perform a quick and crushing counterattack. That is how the Taldan flanks won their battles. That is how we will prevail as well. No matter what bright ideas the general has, no matter what strategies they may devise in advance, in battle a soldier must know how to react. If I were in charge, I would give my officers freedom to act on their own initiative, instead of hammering particular tactics into their heads. Here's what I think. Our soldiers are a brave lot, but they're too fond of fighting in formation on a clear field. We're at war, not a ball game. We need to be more cunning than that, more inventive. In old Sarkoris, we knew plenty of ways to hurt the enemy without attacking from the front. Many of those ways would be useful to our army today. I want to know more about Karamzada's stronghold. Storm's Peak is a mountain fortress built by the demon's unholy magic. Karamzada chose the location for his base of operations wisely. Not only is it well protected, it also provides convenient attack routes that threaten Dresden. The most vicious battle beasts are bred in the depths of the fortress, which has dungeons so vast they could hold an almost infinite number of captives. Why can't we use multiple tactics at once? To train the troops to follow a new tactic, we must drill it into their heads, make them remember it better than their own names. If we try to teach our soldiers conflicting tactics, dissonance will inevitably ensue in the heat of battle. Alas, it is wiser to sacrifice a diversity of options in favor of uniformity of actions. Alright, let's hear everyone's opinions. Sela, isn't it rash to rely on a cavalry charge? It's risky, but there are no cowards in our ranks, are there? Fighting demons is a dangerous business in general, but in my experience, only a swift and daring cavalry attack can strike real fear into the heart of an enemy as reckless as demons. An army of knights betting everything on a cavalry strike. Yeah, the demons will be amazed at how varied and surprising our tactics are. Regil, how does the Taldan flanks fight? First, a tight infantry formation advances forward. It secures a foothold that threatens the enemy's position and awaits the inevitable attack. Upon meeting the first onslaught with a shield wall, the footmen dampen the momentum of the breakthrough, then, at the officer's command, launch their counteroffensive. After a short charge that tramples everything that stands in their way, a gaping breach appears in the enemy ranks, and the offensive turns into a rout. I'm not sure if we can make full use of the practices of the Taldan military. Although the phalanx certainly shows outstanding results, Taldor's infantry trains in a fundamentally different way than our own. I'm afraid that blindly copying another nation's combat style won't yield us the benefits we seek. He does have a point. Greybor, is it wise to allow officers to make their own decisions? This acquaintance of mine, my colleague, he used to serve as a corporal in the Multhuni army. At some point, they went out on a raid against Nirmathi guerrilla warriors. They ran into an ambush, got shot to hell, and chased the enemy deep into the woods. Is it obvious yet that they were being baited? It was obvious to my acquaintance, too. So he tells his commanding officer, things are looking ugly, we've got to turn back. But the officer dug his heels in. Our orders were clear. Upon contact with a lightly armed opponent, we are to give chase and dispatch them. Upon contact with a superior force, we are to contain it by forcing a fight, then send for reinforcements. He recited that order to me word for word. He won't forget it till the day he dies. That's what the generals in the capital had decided, you see. Since the enemy had split their forces, we need to move in with large units and crush the weak bands one by one. Looks solid on paper, but when you're out in the woods in the middle of the night, not so much. Anyway, when they did get ambushed by an enemy force and contained it by forcing a fight, only my acquaintance and his squad made it out alive. He put two and two together and figured that no reinforcements were going to make it in time, so he tried to break through. They ran through the woods for 6 days with the enemy hot on their heels, but they survived. My acquaintance learned a lot from that battle, so he deserted immediately afterward to become an assassin. Much safer craft. Point is, no matter what we come up with, you never know how it's going to play out in an actual battle. And only those who are on the ground fighting can truly know the best thing to do. So I would trust your officers. I can't imagine your army is commanded by idiots, and give them free rein. Initiative is a dangerous weapon. There are situations where it can be useful, but in a large-scale battle, any display of free thinking, any leeway in interpreting orders, may disorganize the army and throw it into chaos. We should not be destroying the discipline of our troops with our own hands. Obrig, what kind of war tricks are you talking about? I can't even tell you how many there are. Traps, ambushes, rear attacks, targeted fires. Sorcoris may be ruined, but it's still our land, and it can help us in battle. We can use the land to hide us from invaders. Use it to lure them into a pit right under their feet. That's how we always fought in Sorcoris, and today's generation of fighters will be taught to fight in the same way. When the demons came to the land of Sorcoris, the locals were no match for them on any front. The only thing we can learn from them is how not to fight. Captain Odan, can you win battles by staying on the defensive? History knows of virtually no prominent generals who disregarded defensive combat doctrine. There are times when letting the enemy break their teeth upon your enemy's formations is more advantageous than going on the offensive yourself. Perseverance oft-times bests valor. You can't win a war by sitting on your hands, especially against an innumerable force of demons who keep pouring out of the abyss. We must strive for victory, live for it. That's the only way we'll put an end to them. Alright, let's see. For the cavalry charge, all trainable cavalry units get charge. +1 bonus to speed and a 20% bonus to damage for a round, but a penalty to AC. No thank you. For the Taldan flanks, all trainable infantry gain charge. Don't like it. For the officers' independence, cavalry and range gain independence. +2 to initiative. That would be good. Tricks of Old Sarkoris. Trainable infantry and ranged get cunning tactics. On the first round of combat, all ranged and infantry gain a +4 to initiative and a +2 to attack. Interesting. And in defensive, all units gain tough, which is a bonus against disease and poison, which isn't really important. I think using initiative in battle would be good, because the bonus to initiative for our ranged units, our marksmen, is going to be incredibly good. It'll really help with letting them get that first strike in every round to do a ton of damage before anyone else. We'll let our officers use the initiative in battle. We're gonna listen to you. Why am I blanking on his name? You know who I'm talking... Greybor. An army where the commanders don't try to force their so-called wisdom on their soldiers, and instead let them use their own heads. That's unheard of. Greybor looks on contentedly as Captain Odan grinds his teeth. Well, I believe the military council has reached a decision on all the necessary reforms. All that's left is to put our army to the test. The siege of Storm's Peak. This battle will show us the worth of all the work we've done. Captain Odan's voice quivers nervously on these last words, and for an instant, his mask of composure cracks. Seeing you take notice, he shoots you a look of warning that says, not now. Alright, we can try Storm's Peak, I think. We just haven't found it, but it shouldn't be too hard to clear out, I think. Development of the Art of War. Oh, a worried aide reports that a crime has been committed in the Citadel. A few days ago, the night patrol officer Ecam Clor did not turn up for guard duty. An unsuccessful search for him ensued. It was then suggested that Clor had secretly left Dresden and deserted. The circumstances of his vanishing demand investigation. We're going to investigate. Buried in rubble, Ecam Clor's body was found at the walls of Dresden. The nature of the wounds leaves no doubt that he was stabbed by a man or by someone similar in appearance and build, rather than mauled by a demon. Examination of the corpse in the area has revealed that Clor turned up to the crime site of his own volition. He then suffered a penetrating wound to the chest, which made him unconscious before being finished off. The attempt at hiding the body seemed negligent. The interrogator concluded that the murderer was in no hurry and mastered the appropriate skills, so must have let the body be discovered intentionally. Concerning. Okay. Where is... Okay, there's the force. That's not gonna be too bad. Get on in there. These men will merge up. There we go. You will also continue on. Merge up with the force. There we go. You're doing nothing, you're doing nothing. Sets and his scouts are staying there. Sets in his wrath. This army is not going to be that big of a deal, I think. I will drop a save first. Alright, let's go clear this out. Alright, we're going up first. Well, almost first. Can kill the Baylors, the Almoxes, the Uludru, the Darachni. Oh, you can kill anyone in one shot. Wouldn't hurt the Baylors, so let's go with this. Beautiful! How about we finish off the Baylors before they get a shot off? Nice. You can do a lot to the Darachni. You summoned some Babaus which are going to die. You can go kill the Darachni. You move forward, you charge forward. You attack again, kill the Almox. And the Darachni. Beautiful! And there we go. That army was not hard to defeat. And Storm's Peak is secure. Beautiful. Now I'll head back to the defensive location, and we're good with that. Alright. Looks like we should probably also talk to him, which shouldn't be too hard. I'm sure our commander wishes to speak with us. Just gotta head over this way. Come on, come on. There we go. Well, now we can head over. We'll head outside, we'll talk to him, we'll sell all this loot, and then we'll go to the... We could go right to the prison. No. We're gonna walk over to the prison, because we got some other things to do on the way. There we go.
I'm gone.
Okay. Captain Odan, you seemed nervous when we were discussing the attack on Storm's Peak. What's the matter? Odan's face looks both fragile and rigid, as if it were made of glass. I was imagining the sacrifices this bloody assault will exact, thinking of the soldiers who would never go back to their homes, and remembering the day that changed me forever. That day at the end of autumn, when my warriors charged into the fire and became ashes in memory, the day for which I was named a hero, and whose guilt will haunt me until the day I die. Tell me about that day. Oh, I can describe it in great detail. I return there every night as I fall asleep. I remember how it sounded as the outpost was consumed by flames. I remember counting my soldiers after every attack, every bleeding wound of a gap that had opened in our ranks, how people threw themselves into the boiling river to escape the burning air. And naturally, I remember how it felt to be the last, to be the only one left. But I won't recount the specifics to you. This is my nightmare, and burdening my leader with it would be treasonous. Why are you tormented by guilt? I could have done more. I could have saved at least someone. It's true, I didn't hide behind my comrades' backs, and the wounds I took in that battle nearly killed me, but still I could have done more. What it comes down to is that it's just not fair that I survived when everyone who trusted me with their lives died. If there is justice in this world, my survival affronts it. Why did you stay in the army after that? Because they called me a hero. I was so ashamed at that moment. I knew that they were the heroes, the ones who would never leave the outpost. Their heroism was my undeserved glory, and it was thrust onto my shoulders with all the weight of an order. I swore that I would carry that burden until I became worthy of my brothers and sisters in arms. I am guilty of receiving the glory that their valor made rightfully theirs. Thank you for telling me this. I'm a soldier. Soldiers aren't made for easy lives. Something subtle has changed in his expression, as if some unseen visor has been slid back over his face, marking the end of that moment of painful sincerity that arose between you. He has been through a hell of a lot. Alright, we'll head this way, sell all our loot, and then head over to the prison and see what's going on with this impostor. Alright, Williser Garms. I have a load of loot to sell ya. Not much in the bulk selling, but then we've got all of this. So much loot. Yeah, we can sell the meat too. Don't need the robe of earth. And we got 121 grand. Beautiful. Right, now to the prison. It's not too much of a run, but it will be fine. Oh, this way. And right into here. Now then, let's speak. You've never seen Social like this. The usually calm, friendly cleric of the goddess of beauty is furious. He is shaking the impostor, holding him by the collar with both hands. Who are you? What do you know about my brother? Speak! Speak, you scum! A brother, huh? The impostor cringes. Yeah, you do look like him. Come on, holy man, give me a dozen lashes! The blood drains from Social's face. His fingers unclench and he recoils away from the bars. Social, what's wrong with you? The priest shakes his head. It's like a bad dream or an evil fae joke. Please, help me make sense of this before I lose my mind. Who are you really? The name's Graham. Abadar knows my last name. He's got it all written down, but it's above our rank to know our lineage. The man's lip curls in disdain. How are you connected to the Hell Knights? What's my connection? I serve them. Well, I used to. I was a soldier in the Order of the Nail, Extirpators chapter. Damn them all. Then I ran away from them. I wasn't cut out to serve like that. I wasn't a knight, not even a squire, just infantry. I got sick of getting my back whipped, so I had an idea. I hid the armor at night, and when I got the chance, I just ran. Tell me about the Extirpators chapter. What's there to talk about? They're scum, just like the rest of the black-clad brutes. What was our captain thinking when he got us hired by them? Maybe he hoped they'd knight him, or maybe he just wanted money. They have deep pockets. The Order of the Nail, Extirpators chapter. They mostly hunt monsters. You know, dragons, other beasts. Study them, stuff them. They didn't tell me what they were doing in the World Wound. Maybe they decided to hunt some distorted beasts who grew tentacles and horns because of the demonic scourge. They, you know, turned into freaks. They do pay well, but they make you work for every coin. If you do anything they don't like, they beat you with a stick or a whip. They don't pity people at all, even their own, not to mention us. In the last year I served them, the unit shrank by half. So I ran away. I wanted to live too much. How do you know the name Trever Vainick? I was his valet for a year. Polished his black armor, tightened his straps. I was a drudge, all in all. He's evil, that Trever. A devil of a man. He had me punished so many times. A whip for every slip is what he'd always say. A whip for every slip. You're lying. You're lying, scum. I'll show you. Yeah, you're his brother, all right. Even used to bare his teeth like you do. You scum, he'd say. If your ears don't work, let's see if your back gets the message. It's not true. Biting his lips, Sociel takes a step back. It can't be. Where were you going when Anevia caught you? Wouldn't you like to know? I thought I'd go to Mendiv, sell the armor, and use the money to keep going. Didn't matter where. Maybe to the River Kingdoms, maybe to Varisia, I don't care, just as long as it's away from demons and demon fighters. Where's Trever now? With the other Knights of the Pike. I hope they whipped him good for losing his armor. What, cleric? Haven't seen your brother for a long time? Give me the map. I'll show you where their camp was when I escaped. They probably haven't gone far. Sociel turns to you. His teeth are clenched, his hands shaking. I don't want to believe that Trever became a Hell Knight. Please, we need to go there and find out for ourselves. Let's go, Sociel. He's not going anywhere. Sure, go on. Good luck getting there. Yeah, while we do still have things to do in that one area, I think we can take a side trip in order to deal with Sociel's brother and find out what happened to him. But that is probably going to be in the next episode. I'm not ending the stream. I don't usually say this. I'm saying this now because, holy crap, 8 viewers. That's more than I've had in a long time. So, people watching the stream, don't worry. I'm still going for another hour. But for those watching on YouTube, I am going to end this episode here. Thank you, those of you who were watching. I am Chester44, also known as Fly. That is me. This has been a Let's Play of Wrath of the Righteous, and I shall see you all next time.